boxing fans, are you ready?
Welcome to Big Boys Boxing, where we're all about exactly that, the big boys. So without further ado,
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
What's going on, team? Welcome back to Big Boys Boxing. I'm Jono, your host, and as per usual, let me get a couple of things sorted here, get myself into the panel, and drop a link for anybody who may like to jump on, come chat some boxing. There's the link there for y'all. Pin that to the top. Booyakasha, that done. Alright, so I haven't been on for a while. Had a bit going on in my life. Having some relationship issues. My young autistic boy scaled a 6-foot fence over the weekend, and we had the police choppers out and all sorts of shit trying to find him. Life's just fun at the moment, I tell ya. So I haven't had much time for YouTube, and I apologise for my absence, but I'm here to talk some boxing today. So, like I say, if anybody would like to jump on, that link is there. Hit it, and you'll go straight into the Discord voice channel. So, over the weekend we had 3 heavyweight fights. Start from the most predictable, boring one, I guess. We had Bakadir Jalalov took on Curtis Harper. Curtis Harper was coming off a win, an unexpected win over Christian Dunn. So he took this fight, and I was kind of hoping that Curtis Harper would go the distance. I chucked a little bet on on Bakadir Jalalov by decision. I knew Curtis Harper's pretty durable, but his attitude is pretty poor. You know, he was getting frustrated. He even threw in an intentional headbutt during the fight because he was getting so frustrated. Jalalov's the big Uzbek, 6'7". He's pretty mobile, pretty fast, but he's pretty basic. You know, he's got a 1-2 and not much else to it. A jab, and he manages distance very well. He's got okay power, and he managed to get Curtis Harper out of there in, I think it was the 5th round. So Harper went down twice in the fight. He finished the fight on his feet at the end of a count, but the referee waved it off. It is what it is, and that one was done and dusted. So the other one I was a little bit surprised at was the result between Wardley and Gorman, Nathan Gorman and Fabio Wardley. I mean, Fabio Wardley, to me, hadn't seemed that flash in the past. They seem to have, I don't know if you'd call it lapses in concentration or a lack of self-confidence at times. And we saw in the first round, Nathan Gorman was actually pretty comfortable. Good punch selection. His defense was okay, but his offense, his hand speed was so much quicker. His punch selection was better. His jab was doing pretty well. He was kind of imposing himself. And he started off the second round a bit more like that as well, and until Nathan Gorman busted his nose. And once Wardley's nose was busted, it's like a switch got flicked in him, and he started being more aggressive, and he managed to put Nathan Gorman down with it was a good right hand that did the damage, and then a left hook followed, and Nathan Gorman went down. And from that point on, It's like Gorman's heart was taken away. His defense wasn't that great. He didn't seem to be able to see the punches coming that well, and I think he got put down twice, and he kind of tried to come back a bit in I think it was the third round, but ended up getting caught again. And it's, Gorman seems to have pretty decent skills, but once he gets hit with a good shot, his heart seems to disappear, or I don't know, maybe it was that good right hand that did the damage. He was still damaged afterwards, and he just wasn't quite himself after that. So, from here on in, I'm starting to wonder about Nathan Gorman's chin, whether he's doomed to be high domestic level in the UK, but I don't know how much further he's going to go. As for Fabio Wardley, he doesn't have an amateur pedigree. I think he only had like 6 white collar fights before he went pro. He's extremely athletic and he's got a good build. He hits very hard with his right hand in particular, but with some more experience and maybe learning how to bring out the animal before he gets hurt, he could cause some problems for a lot of guys, I think. So it's onwards and upwards for Fabio Wardley. Where to next, I don't know. He's currently holds the Lonsdale belt, the British Championship. So I assume he'd be moving on to kind of European level. I don't think they want to move him too fast with the lack of experience. So we'll just wait and see where Nathan Gorman goes next. Just trying to think of a particular European level opponent for him. Maybe he could try a Tyrone Spong or something like that. I think Ajit Caviel's probably a little bit too far a step for him at this point. Maybe a Michelle Wallace, those sorts of fighters. You get a bit more experience at a decent level. He is training with Dillian White. Has been in his camp for some time now. He's a Dillian White fighter. So yeah, we'll see where Mr. Fabio Wardley goes. But kind of an unexpected result. I thought Gorman would at least go the distance, but yeah, I was disappointed in the level of heart that Nathan Gorman showed, and kind of changed my view a bit on him. Like I say, I'm confident that he's got some decent skills. He's got decent punch selection. He looked in a little bit better shape than usual, but if you ain't got that heart, you ain't got that heart, and there ain't much you can do about it. So this is what it is. The main event on that card was Dillian White v Jermaine Franklin. Now I was kind of tentative about a pick on this one because I'm not exactly sure, and even now after that fight I'm not exactly sure where Dillian White is at. He's been sparkoed 3 times. His performance against Tyson Fury was extremely lackluster for him. It seems like he may be on a bit of a slide, Dillian White. He was under a new coach in Buddy McGirt for this fight, and you could see he was trying a few things in there, but at the same time the style that Buddy McGirt has kind of instilled in him in the 6-week or 7-week camp that they had, it looks to me like they're trying to protect his chin to a degree. And Buddy McGirt has a bit of a reputation for taking on fighters who have been sparkoed a few times, and grafting a style to those fighters that's going to prolong their career a bit more. The fight itself was pretty interesting. It was obvious from the start that Jermaine Franklin had much quicker hands. He was still overweight for him. I mean, Jermaine Franklin's another victim of the PBC shelf rot. He's had one fight since 2019. He even had to go and get a night shift job in a factory to make ends meet because he's been left on that shelf for so long, rotting. His ideal weight, he's around 220, 225, but I think he was 260 or something in this fight. He'd blown up to over 280 pounds doing this night shift job. So he had to grab this opportunity with both hands, going and fighting on another platform. I'm not exactly sure whether he's actually left PBC or not, but he made a pretty good account of himself, considering, Dillian White has fought at a much higher level. In the past, I've said, and I still believe, that Jermaine Franklin isn't exactly a special fighter. He's a solid guy with a good chin, fast hands. I don't think he's got great power or great feet or anything like that, but he's got pretty good reactions. He landed quite a few good counters on Dillian White, and even a couple of times Dillian looked a bit wobbled at times, and that's where the worry about Dillian's chin comes in for me. I think he's on the slide, and I think he knows if he gets hit with big shots, it could be all over for him. And like I tried to point out, I don't think Jermaine Franklin's a big puncher, and if he's wobbling Dillian White, how much has Dillian got left? And to be fair, the fight itself wasn't exactly an interesting fight. For me, it was quite boring. It was fairly slow paced. Neither guy looked like they were trying to knock the other guy out or anything. I mean, maybe Dillian was trying a little bit harder at times to try and get a knockout punch, but some of the big winging right hands and left hooks that he was throwing, Jermaine was seeing them from a mile away and getting under them, and it looked like Dillian was swinging like a rusty gate at times. The punch stats show that Jermaine Franklin outlanded Dillian White, but the more eye-catching shots seemed to be from Dillian White. There just wasn't as many of them. The scorecards came out at one judge gave it a draw and two judges gave it 116-112, saying Dillian White won 8 rounds. I totally disagree with that. I could have agreed with 115-113 either way, or a draw. Jermaine Franklin's posting all over social media that he thinks he got absolutely robbed. You can't say that about a close fight, and myself, I thought it was very close. I couldn't have argued with, like I say, a draw or 1 round different either way. So I think there was a bit of home cooking going on with those two judges at 116 and 112. I'm just going to look it up now. There was on BoxRec a couple of days ago, I looked up the scorecards for that fight, and they only had, they had the final scores there from the judges, but they didn't have the round scores, and they had the round scores for the fans scores, and the total there, they had Dillian White losing 116-112 the fans. So I'm just going to go and check it and see if they've updated and got a few more fan scores in there. I did put a post up on the community tab on the channel. about it the other day. There was a little bit of conversation going on there, but just give me a sec. Jermaine Franklin box rec. Let's see what we can find here. Score. So it's still the same year. They've still got the 115. I know they've got. Oh yeah, 115, 115, which is odd. They must have had 2 drawn rounds in there to get that score on that judge. And I hate when judges do that. It's called a 10-point must system for a reason. You know, one fighter must get 10 points unless they get a point deducted or both fighters get knocked down in a round. So yeah, there's still the fan score there's still got 112 Dillian White, 116 to Jermaine Franklin. So I'm not sure exactly where all these box rec fan scores come from. I suspect a lot of it will be American, but I don't know. I can't claim something I don't know too much about, honestly. So it is what it is. So no comments in the chat. That's fine. Say hello. I see 4 of you are watching there. And any other fights over the weekend? I mean, non-heavyweight dust-ups. Zach Parker dropped nuts and bailed once he hurt his hand against John Ryder, and that was for a mandatory or interim title for the super middleweight division. I mean, we've seen plenty of warrior fighters in the past break a hand or even both and still continue the fight. Some of them even come through and win. But I think Zach Parker knew that John Ryder was starting to get closer, starting to put pressure on, and I think he had felt how hard John Ryder hits and decided, no, I don't really want to do this anymore. It would have been really tough for him, as it was with both hands, to keep John Ryder off him. And I think he knew very well that he was likely to get knocked the fuck out if he couldn't keep John Ryder off him. So Zach Parker,
you got knocked the fuck out.
That's right, it's just as bad. So it was what it was. The other big fight on the weekend was between Regis Prograis and Jose Cepeda. It was a really good fight. I mean, Jose Cepeda came out really strong in the first round. Regis seemed to forget he had a jab, which was unfortunate because he does have a good jab. But after that second round, Regis, with his head movement, his clean style, was doing a lot better work. He's got a hell of a chin too, does Regis Prograis. He got caught with some big left hands from Jose Cepeda. Particularly, I think it was in the 10th round. He got wobbled badly and had to back off and take a bit of a break, but his recovery skill, his recovery ability is second to none, Regis Prograis. Now, a lot of people think that it was an absolute domination from Regis Prograis besides that first round, but I beg to differ. Man, the commentary on that whole card was shocking. They had Ray Flores was one of them. He's usually on Fox, but it was Fight TV. They had some other ex-boxer on there. I can't remember who it was, but every fight, the favorite was getting talked up, and the supposed underdog was getting absolutely disrespected all the fucking time. It was disgusting. I mean, Sky UK sometimes has some pretty biased commentary, and sometimes Fox is not so good as well, but this was leagues above that, leagues above in the bad way. They were talking like Regis Prograis was dominating every round. He was throwing a lot more punches, but he was missing a lot. I mean, a lot of his jabs were short most of the time. Maybe he was using it as a blinding tactic to a degree, but it seems like the commentary and a lot of people were thinking that all of the jabs were landing. I thought Zepeda's jab was a lot more accurate. The punches he was throwing, his connect percentage was much better, but I mean, it is what it is. At the end of the day, it was a stoppage in the 11th round. Regis did catch Zepeda with a big shot and then had him up against the ropes and threw a big barrage, and the ref come in and stopped the fight even before Zepeda went down. Now, I thought the stoppage was a bit early as well. Even if Zepeda did end up going down before the ref stopped the fight, it's a world title fight. You can't take someone out of the fight when they haven't even been knocked down, you know. I haven't seen any comments from Jose Zepeda post-fight as yet. I'm not trying to take anything away from Regis Prograis either, because I think he put on one of the best performances that he has in his entire career. So big congratulations to Regis Prograis becoming a two-time super lightweight champion of the world. And there's a few fights out there that I want to see Regis in. Hopefully him being under the Probellum promotional banner isn't going to be too much of a hindrance. We all know the dramas going on at the moment with their association to one Daniel Kinahan and so on and so forth. But Regis Prograis very much one of the best fighters in the 140 division at present. I would love to see a rematch between him and Josh Taylor at 140, but I don't think Josh Taylor's going to be hanging around at 140 for too much longer. He's fighting a rematch against, what's his name, Cattrall, and that's apparently at 140, but obviously not for all the belts, because Zepeda and Prograis just fought for one of them. I can't even remember which one it is. Is it WBA, WBC, WBO? One of those. It's not the IBF, I know that much. So yeah, that is what it is, and that's about the past weekend covered from what I was interested in. There was another good fight that I watched on the undercard of Prograis Zepeda. Shit, I can't even remember their names. Two black guys, one with long hairs like an African or Puerto Rican guy, and the other guy was short hair. He got a bad cut early on in the fight. He was expected to be the heavy favourite. He did end up winning quite convincingly in the end, but it was hard for him. He had to get through adversity with a big cut on his eye, and the guy with the dreads was constantly getting his head up against the cut and rubbing his dreads in the cut. Old veteran tricks, but you know, it was an interesting fight. But once again, that commentary, they were just totally dogging the guy with the dreads, the underdog, and totally riding the dick of the favourite. It was shocking. So it is what it is. Alright, so looking ahead to the weekend in front of us, we've got a couple of heavyweight fights. One of them's a title fight, but it's not a fight anybody wants to see. Tyson Fury v Derek Chisora. is happening this weekend. It's the third time they'll meet. Derek Chisora's been beaten up by Tyson Fury twice. One, the first time, it was a bit more competitive. The second time, Derek Chisora caught on a still after a few rounds of getting his head punched in. Derek Chisora ain't quite what he used to be. I'm sure he's going to bring the fight as he always does. And thankfully, from Tyson Fury's point of view, Derek Chisora will bring his fans with him. Because without Derek Chisora's fans, I don't think Tyson Fury would be making much money in this fight. As it is, it's a pay-per-view that nobody's going to buy. It's going to be a steal per-view. There's a lot of other fights Tyson Fury could have taken. He's going on about he wants to be the first heavyweight in history to complete 2 trilogies. That's a lie. There's been other heavyweights in the past that have completed 2 trilogies as champions. However, none of them have been in the 4-belt era, of course. So, I'm just looking at my betting website now for a nosy. I use Bet365 mainly, but where is it? See what the odds are. I think Tyson Fury just for the win is $1.02. Now there's different formats of odds around the world. $1.02 means if you put $1 on, you get $1.02 back if it's successful. You put $100 on, you get $102 back. But hold on, the odds have changed. Where are they? Oh, you got $1.05 now. It was $1.02 earlier. So if I look, actually I might put this on the screen for y'all so you can see what I'm seeing. Let's have a go here. There we go. There's my betting website, and here's the odds. So I've gotten into the fight. So we've got methods of victory here, right? So there you go. $1.05 for Tyson Fury and $10 for Derek Chisora to pull off a win. Wouldn't it be funny if Derek Chisora pulled out one of those big overhand rights, landed clean on Tyson Fury's chin and knocked him the fuck out and became the WBC heavyweight champion of the world? Oh my god. So yeah, Tyson Fury for the knockout is paying $1.30 and $4.50. So basically 4.5 to 1 for a decision. Derek Chisora for the knockout is $23. Shit. And $13 by decision. $13 for knockout, sorry, and $23 by decision. The decision's not going to happen for Derek Chisora. Hell to the no. But at $13, shit. Is it worth chucking $5 on? What? 5. You chuck $5 on, you'd get $65 back, you know. Is it worth, you know, if you've got a fiver that you don't really care about, oh, throw it on Derek Chisora for a knockout. It'd be funny, man. It'd be hella funny. So also we've got round grouping. It'd be the better options, I think. Method of victory, total rounds, 3-round grouping, 4 to 6, $3.50. That's probably what I'd look at. Yeah, I don't want to log in because I don't want y'all seeing all my shit. Get out of there. How do I get this off the goddamn screen? There we go. Have they got any other round groupings? They do. They got 2 rounds. Oh, they got 4 rounds too. 1 to 4. 5 to 8's probably a good one as well. 275, it's not as good at odds. 4 to 6 would probably be the one I'd look at. But it is what it is. But also, this weekend, we have... Where is it? Daniel Dubois v Kevin Lerena. This could be a little bit of an interesting fight. Kevin Lerena, he's like a cruiserweight size guy. Look, I've got, it's not even $6.2. I mean, Kevin Lerena can move a bit. He's a little bit quicker than what Daniel Dubois would be used to. He moves his head a lot. He's got a reasonable punch himself. Daniel Dubois, $1.20 for the knockout. It's most likely. But Kevin Lerena, yeah, he's a bit of a tricky character. He might get some rounds, give Daniel Dubois a little bit of experience against somebody a little bit more tricky, I think. So it could be a little bit more interesting. Probably more interesting than the goddamn main event. It is what it is. So that's about all the heavyweights that are in action that are worth noting this weekend. Now, I do have something to mention about one of our local fighters here in New Zealand. David Light, our top cruiserweight, has got a very interesting fight this weekend. He's taking on Brandon Glenton, who is 17-0. This fight is going to be in the States. It's going to be in, what's this say, Plant City, Florida, USA. It's the headline event for the card. It's got a little thing here. It's got like a phone with a number. 561-788-02. Usually that's where the media is, and it's just got this phone with a, looks like a phone number next to it. So if it's going to be on an app or something, I'd like to be able to catch it. This fight is going to be for the WBO Global Cruiserweight title. It's vacant. The WBO International Cruiserweight title, which is also vacant, and it's going to be a 10-round fight. Now, David Light is a heavy underdog in this fight, according to the bookies. Just let me find it. It's going to be, this is Friday, where is it? Where the fuck did that fight go? I'm sure it wasn't on Friday. No, it's Saturday. And when I'm saying Saturday, it's New Zealand Saturday, so it'll be Friday in the States. Oh, come on, where is it? Isaac Lowe, that's on Sunday. Or Saturday in the UK. There it is. David Light v Brandon Glenton. So Brandon Glenton is paying $1.25 for the win. So if it's even odds, just to let you know, it's like $1.85 for each fighter. So he's a heavy favourite, is Brandon Glenton, and David Light is paying $3.75 just for the win. I don't know if they're underestimating David Light. I think he was a Commonwealth gold medalist, David Light. And turned pro before he went to the Olympics, but he's a Isaac Peach fighter, out of the Isaac Peach Gym out in West Auckland, out in the Waitakere Ranges. He spars a lot with Jerome Pampalone, with even middleweight Andre Mikhailovich. They got some really good fighters coming out of that gym. David Light also spars with Kiki Toa Latelli, who just fought Justice Huni and went the distance in a pretty decent performance for Kiki. There's videos on YouTube of David Light and Kiki sparring, and David definitely holds his own against the big heavyweight. He can punch, man. He's a freaking animal. He doesn't have the best head movement or the fastest feet, but he tends to wear down fighters with his power, track them down eventually and knock them out. Now, I've seen Brandon Glenton fight as well. He's a bit of a mover, bit of a tricky character, not the most powerful puncher. So I'm actually surprised the odds that they've got here. Brandon Glenton is paying $1.66 to knock out David Light, and I honestly think that's not going to happen. You ain't going to knock out David Light. If he's going to win against Light, it'll be on points, staying away from him all night, because David Light hits like a freaking bus. But the bookies have got $4 here for a decision win for Brandon Glenton, which is extremely interesting. For me, there's two options here. If you're going to bet on this fight, David Light is paying $7 for a knockout and $8 for a points victory. So myself, I haven't thought about it too much. I have to go and watch a bit more of Brandon Glenton, but my choice would either be Brandon Glenton on points, which is paying $4, or David Light by knockout, which is paying $7. So if I was putting a serious bet on, I'd probably look at Brandon Glenton at $4, but I'd definitely put a hedge on, and it wouldn't have to be as much to cover with David Light by knockout. So I'm really hoping I can get a broadcast for this. If I can find one, I'll probably do a fight party for it, and y'all be welcome to join me. I will put a notification up on the Discord. If anybody's interested, keep an eye on the Discord channel. So that is that. Also this weekend, of course, we have the third fight between Chocolatito and Juan Francisco Estrada. Little fellas, I'm not really that interested in the little fellas, but that's one of the fights that I would definitely be looking at watching. So yeah, it is what it is with that one. But like I say, this is big boys boxing over here. It's usually the bigger weight divisions I concentrate on. So it is what it is. I mean, there is a couple of other fights. Lyndon Arthur's in action this weekend too, I believe. Let me get back to my right screen so I can check it out. Just running through my gambling site. It's usually the best one and best place to look for the fights that are worth looking at. Here it is. Lyndon Arthur is going to be taking on Joel McIntyre. Lyndon Arthur's a heavy favourite in that. He's paying $1.02, but could be worth looking at. That'll be on Saturday morning in New Zealand, Friday night in the UK. What else have we got on here that's worth mentioning? Troy Williamson versus Josh Kelly. I believe that's on the same card as well. A lot of shine's gone off Josh Kelly since he got sparkoed a while back. He's had a couple of comeback fights. Hasn't looked that flash, but good enough to get the wins, you know. So this looks to be quite an even fight. According to the bookies, they've got Josh Kelly paying $1.80 for the win, and Joel McIntyre paying $1.90. So good competitive scrap. Should be worth having a look at that one. What else have we got? Anything else worth mentioning? Isaac Lowe is in action. He's going to be taking on Sundip Singh Bhatti. Yeah, it's not really competitive. Sundip Singh Bhatti is a heavy underdog. He's paying $10 just for the win, and $1.05 for Isaac Lowe to win that one. So basically a stay busy fight. What else have we got here? No, not worth mentioning. Royston Barney Smith is taking on Cruz Perez. Another non-competitive fight. $1.02. Yeah, never mind. What else? I think we're getting to the bottom of the barrel. I've been over the Daniel Dubois and Kevin Lorena fight already. Yeah, Daniel Dubois is $6.2 as a favourite. So, yep, it is what it is. Alright, now I'm getting down to the American fights. Oh, Mark Castro's in action. He's taking on Miguel Lopez Vilgrana. Don't know that dude. So Mark Castro's a heavy favourite in that one as well. Mark Castro's fun to watch. Oh, Diego Pacheco is in action. He's taking on Ricardo Adrian Luna. Ricardo Luna, I know that name. So Pacheco's a heavy favourite in that one at $1.02 as well. Julio Cesar Martinez is in action. He's taking on Samuel Carmona. And once again, Julio Cesar Martinez is a pretty heavy favourite. Not quite as heavy as the other crap fights. He's at $1.11. So, and his opponent is at $6. But Julio Cesar Martinez should win that fight. I'm assuming that's back down at the weight he's supposed to be at, because he did step up and take on Chocolatito at a weight that was too big for him. One, Francesco Estrada and Roman Gonzalez. Of course, the last fight on Sunday afternoon in New Zealand. The final match between these two, they've got Estrada at $2.75 and Chocolatito at $1.44. So Chocolatito's the favourite in this one. I don't know with these little fellas. On the day, either of these guys could win. They've shown it in the past. So yeah, I'll be watching that card because there's nothing else on. So yeah, and that's about us wrapped up for what's coming over the weekend. What happened last weekend? A couple of things to mention. On the broadcast of the Dillian Whyte and Jermaine Franklin fight, they were talking about the winner potentially fighting Anthony Joshua. After the performance of both guys, I don't know, man. I don't think I really want to see Whyte v Joshua again. I think Joshua will beat the living snot out of Whyte in the condition he seems to be in these days. He'll knock him out in about 5 or 6 rounds, I think. So I'm hoping the shine off that is potentially wearing off. There is talk that Shelley Finkel and Eddie Hearn are actually talking about Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua making a fight happen. But honestly, I think Anthony Joshua needs a comeback fight before stepping into something like that. So, I don't know, maybe a confidence builder by knocking White China out again could be the way to go. Of course, Deontay Wilder has been ordered by the WBC to fight in a final eliminator against Andy Ruiz Jr. So we haven't got a date set for that fight yet, but I imagine that's coming. Get those out of the way, and then maybe we'll finally get to see Joshua v Wilder. You know, the fight that should have happened while they both had belts. Now they got nothing. It's just a fight, a matchup that people want to see. They're not champions. They both got a couple of losses. I mean, Joshua's got 3 losses. Wilder's got 2. Joshua's been stopped once. Wilder's been knocked the fuck out twice. So you got nothing to lose now. Make the fucking fight, you pussies. There's no more politics in the way. Let's get it done. Apparently Shelley Finkel's come out and said that they're willing to go to the UK, which means that I guess they're willing to go cross-platform, because there ain't no way it's going to be a PB show if it's in the UK, is it? They could go to Saudi as well, apparently. And once again, it would be a DAZN show, because PBC have no connections in Saudi. So yeah, maybe it's a fight that can happen mid-year next year or something like that, assuming both of these guys get their potential upcoming fights out of the way, either early next year or the first quarter of next year. So maybe one day we'll get to see it, maybe we won't, but yeah, it's pretty hard to hold out hope that we're ever going to see that fight. And one other little bit of talk going on, a potential fight between Joe Joyce and Zhili Zhang may be in the works. I'm not sure how they want to make that, because we know Zhili Zhang is a DAZN fighter, right? And Joe Joyce is Queensbury. So of course it would be a Queensbury show if Zhili is allowed to cross platforms. I think it's a lot more likely that Zhili's allowed to go somewhere, unlike PBC fighters aren't allowed to go anywhere unless they're ordered to or something like that. So yeah, it's a fight that could potentially happen, hopefully once again in the first couple of months of next year. Joe Joyce has come off a hard fight against Joe Parker. Apparently he initially said he wasn't ready if Tyson Fury wanted to fight on December 3rd. Then he said he was, but I think he needs to take some time, get fully recovered and spend some time with his family, and hopefully we can see him in the ring. I don't mind the fight between him and Zhili Zhang. It's a decent fight. Zhili's proven that he's durable. He hits bloody hard. He caused Filip Hrgovic some real issues. A lot of people even thought Zhili won that fight, but he's pretty long in the tooth. He'll be, if he's not already, he'll be over 40 by the time that fight happens. But in saying that, Joe Joyce ain't exactly a spring chicken either, but he sure fights like one, doesn't he? He sure fights like one. So we'll see what happens there as well. Yeah, and I haven't really heard too much other news about anything else regarding heavyweights that is of real interest at the moment. So, we got lots of stuff in the chat. Sorry, Phil. I've been off all over the place. Good to see you, bro. Josh Kelly is a hype job. Well, he was a hype job. I think the shine's gone right off him now, bro. He never really had that much power anyway, but I think he fights a lot more cautious these days as well. So we'll see what happens with that fight over the weekend. Early on in his career, yeah, exactly. He struggled against journeyman level, yeah, exactly. What else we got? If White tried that style against Joshua, he will get knocked out. Yeah, definitely. Unless he can master it a lot better. Because, like I was saying earlier in the stream, I don't believe Jermaine Franklin hits that hard. And it looked like Dillian was wobbled at times in that fight. So, if he's going to take shots from Anthony Joshua, it's a big difference, man. It's a huge difference. He will get knocked the fuck out again. And I will get to do this.
You got knocked the fuck out.
And don't forget, team, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon for future notifications. Right back to the chat. What else was Phil saying there? We'll have to go and watch Friday. Haven't watched it in a few years. I have always said that Hrgovic was one-dimensional. Yeah, definitely. He was lucky to get the result for Zhili Zhang. Yeah, he was. I mean, it's like he'd threw his best shots and done what he thought would get Zhili Zhang out of there, and once he realised it wasn't going to get him out of there, he was taking those walks like he was disinterested. He didn't know what to do because he was exactly that, Phil. One-dimensional. And, you know, this boogeyman shit that was brought up, I don't think anybody wanted to fight him, but that's not because they thought he was the boogeyman. It's because there's no money in fighting Filip Hrgovic. He's not a big draw. That's why he had so much trouble getting someone to fight him in that final eliminator. Zhili Zhang's solid, but he ain't no world beater. And he had real trouble with him, so that boogeyman tag is way gone now. Way gone. Hrgovic, through his early career, he was just using his size and explosiveness against smaller guys. When he come up against someone his own size who could take a punch and dish them out as well, his one dimension was exposed. Extremely European, straight up and down, 1-2 style. Those cuffing behind the headshots he couldn't land. You know, he's actually really quite a messy fighter. When he comes up against someone that's on his level, it really sticks out like dog's balls. You know, Hrgovic reminds me of Wilder. That's a good point. He's really messy like Wilder, isn't he? I mean, Wilder seems to have tidied up his style a little bit, but you know, as soon as Deontay Wilder thinks he's hurt somebody, all that tidied up of his style disappears and he turns back into the windmill straight away. Fucking arms and legs flying all over the place, no technique. He just looks for the big overhand. Yeah. And he's quite happy to land it behind the head or on the ear. I think it was actually Filip Hrgovic who busted Joseph Parker's eardrum in the amateurs. I think it was him. Busted his eardrum with one of those open-handed fucking slap you in the side of the head shots. So, yeah, he's messy. He's tidy at times, but he's messy when he thinks he can land a big shot. Just like a Wilder. So I guess it's Deontay Hrgovic. and Philippe Wilder. But anyways, I think that's about me for today. Hold on, we got another comment here from Phil before we go. Anywhere will do. Yeah, as long as it lands. No real technique. Yeah, man. Yeah. A lot of guys get that way when they get excited, eh? Alright, Phil. Anybody else? The Archive gang, that's about us for today. So I hope you've enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe on your way out, and drop your comments about any of the subjects brought up today. I'd love to get into some conversation with y'all in the comments below, and yeah, we'll catch y'all next time. Take it easy, look after yourselves and your family.
So that's us for today. I hope you have enjoyed. You can show your appreciation with a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Be sure to check out our Discord community where you can find boxing news, fight links, live streamed fights, and much more. So look after yourself and your family. I'm Jono from Big Boys Boxing, and I'm out. See you!